Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games. So SIMIC FLASH is definitely back in the spotlight with some awesome new additions from Core Set 2021. Now I played this deck basically since it was a deck. It didn't really get much additions from Ikoria. I mean, I added a Shark Typhoon. That's definitely one that fits well and slots well into this deck, but that can go into almost any sort of blue control type strategy. But Core Set 2021 gave us some awesome new additions, and that would be Rewind and Lofty Denial. All right, let's jump right into the deck. So I run a couple of copies of Opt. It's pretty self-explanatory. 4 copies of Spectral Sailor, so great for flashing in an early blocker. Maybe you're going up against red deck or something like that. Get rid of those Scorch Spitters. And then of course it has some late game value in that we can pay for to draw a card. So I run 4 copies of Brineborn Cutthroat. Obviously really awesome in a flash type deck. So we're always basically playing on our opponent's turn. We very rarely do anything on our own turn. So every time we cast either a counter spell or flash in another creature or something like that, Brineborn Cutthroat just keeps getting more big and annoying as the game goes on. Lofty Denial was one of the awesome new additions from Core Set 2021, and this spell is amazing. For just 2 mana, we get a counter spell unless they pay 1. And then of course, if we control a creature with flying, we counter that spell unless they pay 4 instead. So between things like Spectral Sailor and Brazen Borrower, we usually have a flyer kicking around, but even if we don't, a lot of times Lofty Denial will get the job done even if they only have to pay the extra 1. A couple of copies of Omen in the Sea is really good for manipulating the top of your deck, and then 3 copies of Wildborn Preserver. Wildborn Preserver is just one of those awesome cards. It's really good against sort of aggressive decks. You can flash it in to block aggressive red decks, and then of course this is a great mana dump to just dump excess mana into it and make this thing bigger as the game goes on. Of course, 4 copies of Brazen Borrower is an auto include in this deck. Petty Theft is great. It's like almost like buys ourselves an extra turn. They go ahead and on their turn 4 they drop, I don't know, like a Questing Beast or something like that, and you force them to pick that back up and put it in their hand. It's almost like you bought yourself an extra turn. And then of course we get the flying 3/1 Face Beater for just 3 mana that we can flash in at any time. Rewind is the best new addition to this deck, hands down. So for 4 mana, we get a counter target spell, and then we untap up to 4 lands. It can lead to some really busted turns when you do something like Rewind on their turn and then you untap the lands and flash in something like a Nightpack Ambusher. Or in Magical Christmas Land, we go ahead and rewind and then a Frilled Mystic, another thing that they cast on their turn, can really lead to some back-breaking turns. Obviously, Frilled Mystic is an auto included in this deck, and Nightpack Ambusher is our big finisher. So as long as we don't cast any spells on our turn, which we almost never do, then of course we get that extra 2/2 green wolf creature token every turn, and the wolves get +1/+1 as long as our Nightpack Ambusher is kicking around. So I also included 3 copies of Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon is just a great way to kind of dump mana at the end of the turn, create a flying shark. You can surprise someone, create a flying shark token and, you know, throw it up there as a blocker, or just going into their turn, you make like a 5/5 shark or something that's going to finish the game for you. And then of course you get the cycling off it. I almost never play it out as an enchantment. I do from time to time, but more often than not, I'll just cycle this to create the shark token. The lands are pretty straightforward, and I run 2 Castle Vantress, 8 Islands, 7 Forest, 3 copies of Breeding Pool, 1 Temple of Mystery, and 3 Fabled Passage. Now, I did include the deck list in the description of this video, so if that's something you need to check out, go ahead and check that out. And I also included some gameplay, so make sure you stick around for that. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed the deck tech. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out.
show remorse, I'll show restraint. Here we go. That didn't go according to plan.
Through this land, we are all connected. Rise, my elemental friend. Comfort in the land.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Alright, so there's my updated version of SIMIC FLASH. I really hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and deck tech. If you did, like I said, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out. If you're a subscriber, you know I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if not, now's a great time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post at least 2 videos every week. Bye for now.